I want Minecraft to be a little more realistic. But maybe not that realistic. What I'm looking for is something to make the environment harder. You see, I don't really want to add brand new mechanics or change the way you truly have to play the game. I just want to have to be a little more cautious of my surroundings. Think of it as the same way a horror mod works in principle. It's not that Minecraft itself has gotten harder, it's that you're no longer safe in places you once were. And that's what I want, just not the same way a horror mod does it. So I'll be achieving this feeling and more by changing a few things like adding new weather, block physics, moon events, temperature, and so on. Here's a list of every effective mod included in this mod pack for those who are curious. And also, my win condition is a bit different from usual. I'm not here to beat the Ender Dragon, so I'll say I've won if I can survive for 10 days. Shouldn't be too hard, right? So on my first day, I had a few goals to accomplish. Craft tools, craft torches, and gather food. Oh, and also get a bed because nights are too dark to really survive. Now, during the day, gathering resources comes easily because I can actually see where I'm going. But later when it's dark, I can't see so well, which is why torches are a must now. But I can always listen for lightning and watch for dust, as I do here. And this meant that a tornado was about to form, forcing me out into the darkness. Fortunately for me though, the time had just passed midnight, meaning I could skip the night and then just leave in the morning. So my first day was now officially complete, and it was time for me to move. But as luck would have it, I ended up running into what is perhaps the worst biome for me to be in. And at the same time, yet another tornado was preparing to form. And I spent so much time running around that it was already beginning to get dark. So I was going to be stuck in this jungle throughout the night, which I already knew was going to be a death sentence. There's a lot of blocks in my way, I can't see, and I can't fight forever because of my incredibly unreliable stamina, meaning my only option was really just going to be to run. But even that wasn't going to work. These guys are dedicated. What? We still here? Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Yo. What is this? So yeah, I didn't last very long on my first attempt. But as you know, I'm not gonna give up that easily. Alright, time for World 3 then. So, I'll be starting off the same way as always, but I've learned a few things, mainly regarding food. Food doesn't actually start to expire until it's in my inventory, so I could get rid of the daily hunt by getting something like bread in the form of wheat, and while not the best food option, it could sustain me for the entire duration of the world. Next, I wanted to kill the Iron Golem because I wanted a shield. And having one wasn't really going to help me win fights, but it was going to make it a little easier for me to run away. So by the time I left the village after finishing all my crafting, it was starting to get dark, so I slept through the night and was then awoken by a tornado preparing to form, forcing me to leave. Which brings us to the introduction of our next issue, temperature. And normally temperature wouldn't really be a problem, but since I was in the snow, I was going to get cold, and I would have to deal with frequent snowstorms as well. So I was going to have to pay attention to how cold I was. But eventually I ended up coming across a village where I then had my first experience with those falling blocks I spoke of. Get out. Yeah, I bet there were some people who probably didn't think falling blocks were that dangerous. And to be honest, neither did I. But anyways, it was getting dark now and I didn't want to leave just yet because I was expecting the village to be a safe space. But boy was I wrong. Creepers, freezing, a growing tornado, a house falling apart. The only thing missing was a moon event, but those are being saved for a later day. But even so, I came very close to death that night, and then again in the morning when I was forced out of the village by some skeletons. No. So after being forced out to the ocean, I ended up spending most of day 3 kinda just wandering around. I found a new island to explore, and by the time I was finished running around, I knew it was going to be getting dark soon. And if you're wondering, I'm trying to avoid building a house because I don't want to be held down by some base. I like being able to explore. So I set up a temporary base made up of some torches and a tower in the middle, and this made getting through the night very easy. Honestly, a little too easy. On day 4, I finally decided it was time for me to do a little caving because I was starting to think about the later nights and how armor wasn't really going to be an option. Also on day 4, I ran into my first dog, and this was important for me because it meant that I could actually go caving because now I had someone to chase away skeletons. So the next thing I focused on was going to be actually gathering resources from a cave so I could make this iron armor. But I actually feel like I was really lucky because there were a lot less enemies than I was expecting, so my caving experience was a lot easier than I thought. By the time we left the cave, another day had already passed, so we were on to day 5, just about halfway to the finish line. Day 5 wasn't filled with much activity, and to be honest, I got like nothing done. I had iron armor now, so I didn't have a clear goal anymore. I was just aimlessly walking around. But I did find a second dog that night, which opened up the possibility of making a small army to help me fight, which is going to be necessary for the events of the later moons. But other than that, day 5 was nothing special, and neither was day 6. I did come up with a plan to survive the last few nights though, and because we're getting to that point, I'll go ahead and speak on what's going to be happening and why I keep mentioning those nights. Also, just so you know, these are events I'm forcing to happen because otherwise there would be practically no showcasing of the moon events in this video. So, night 7 is going to be a hunter moon, night 8 will be normal, night 9 will be a blood moon, and finally, night 10 is going to be a super blood moon, the grand finale. So in preparation for this, I wanted to make a fort that I could defend. Unfortunately, the weather quickly gave me a reason not to go through with that idea. And by that point, I'd already spent most of my day building, so all that was left to do was to wait until midnight to sleep. And so came day 7, the beginning of the final phase of my 10-day survival challenge. I tried to return to my unfinished build because I saw the weather moved away, but to further discourage me, the game brought upon yet another tornado. This one wasn't gonna leave though. And that base is like my main plan, so I didn't know what to do after that. I didn't want to make a new one just for another tornado to hit it, and on top of that, there were no other good spots nearby to build. So when it came to it, I knew we were gonna have to fight through the night. So I wasn't expecting night 7 to be too difficult. The Hunter's Moon is one of the additional moons I've added in, and it isn't really all that hard compared to something like the Blood Moon, and definitely nothing to the Super Blood Moon. But it did still end up taking quite a toll on me, and eventually I was forced to run away. In total, I ended up losing 2 out of what was 4 dogs, and had a near miss with death when I realized fighting was not within my list of options. And so I ended up running away for the rest of the night because I knew my health wasn't going to come back for a while, and I couldn't afford to lose another dog. Breeding is very important for me. And so on to day 8 we went. I did not have anything planned for the day, but I wanted to do a little bit of exploring before I moved on. And I also wanted to visit the ruins of what was going to be our base. And the village wasn't spared either, that was also destroyed. And so after spending a little while just admiring the ruins, I headed into a cave to spend the rest of my day there. And from this point, I'm gonna be honest, we're just gonna focus on what happens at night because not a lot happens during the day. Okay, let's begin the finale, starting from night 8. This one wasn't going to be a concern of mine because there's nothing special going on. The only thing to contend with was going to be the ruined landscape caused by the previous tornadoes. But other than that, this one was going to be pretty easy and I wasn't expecting much action. Next came day 9, the night of the blood moon. I was hoping I would end up finding a new flat plains-like area to camp at, but the tornadoes pretty much ruined the entire place by that point. So all that was left was the night. So this was the point at which I otherwise would have been hoping to have finished my base by, because these last 2 nights are meant to be the most difficult to survive as the last test of my survival abilities. And because that didn't happen, they were going to be rough. I mean, I almost died to a horse.
Kill it, oh my gosh. Yo! No, this is crazy! I've never seen a horse so powerful.
So after I made it back on land for my little horse encounter, then came my time in the forest. Originally I was going to stay out on that beach, but a tornado was starting to pull me into it, meaning it was getting super close to me, and I had to leave. So everything else happened within this forest. And this is exactly why I didn't want to do this in a forest. It's easy for monsters to gang up on me. Look at him! No, I got him low. You gotta be low.
Oh my goodness.
Yo.
The sun's coming back to us, guys. Coming back.
Walk. And by this point, the night is pretty much over. There's not much else to happen.
I need food.
Day 9 was another simple one where I didn't do much, but I did grow my army of dogs to be a little bigger again. And I would have gone for diamond armor, but by this point I didn't think caving that deep was a good idea, so I just stuck with my iron. But anyways, on to the final night, the super blood moon. The hardest part about this night wasn't going to be the fact that I was probably going to have to deal with large amounts of mobs, but was rather going to be my reduced ability to heal. When fighting groups of monsters, especially large ones, it's practically impossible to avoid taking damage. And because this mod pack includes stamina that applies to my shield, now it was really going to be impossible to avoid damage, and any hit that I take is going to take a moment to regenerate, so the damage can very quickly stack up. But if I'm being honest, this night actually went super well, and was actually turning out to be a lot easier than I expected. The lights that I had placed around were preventing monsters from spawning near me, which meant that they were more likely to approach in small numbers because they had to walk a longer distance to get to me. But if there's anything you should have picked up on by now, it's that sitting in one area almost never works here. I saw some dust clouds flying around, which meant one of 2 things. Either an already existing tornado was on the way over to me, or a tornado was preparing to form. And because I couldn't risk it being an already existing tornado, I ran away because a tornado would be an instant death if I was picked up. And this little push into the darkness was exactly what the game needed to gain the upper hand on me. It's bad. It's bad. Very bad. Get up. Y'all better help, bro. Oh my. Yo.
Oh my.
A little longer. Come on. No, no, no. Move.
Oh my gosh. Yo.
I can only run. That's all I can do. All I can do is run. Screw that. We trust the tornado's not gonna hit me. Out there is death. That is death. Oh my god. Bro, help, bro. What are y'all doing, bro? Go get him. What you're here for. Go get him. But as a matter of fact, they did not go get him.
Oh my gosh.
No, I can't do this again, bro. So we're leaving with yet another loss. I know I didn't win last time either, but my goal isn't really to win here. It's just to see how well I can perform. And if I'm being honest, I did really well, and I only lost because a skeleton got a lucky hit and did 2.5 hearts of damage with one. Also, if you were to consider this challenge as based on realistic time, I did win because it was way past midnight. The sun was actually starting to rise again when I died, so in a way, I did win. But by the normal conditions, no, I lost. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Also, I'm only 3 subscribers away from 200, so if you watch this far, you should consider subscribing. Okay, look. I got 2 hearts here. I got 2 hearts. I tick. I heal. 2.5 hours of damage. How? How did he do that much damage? That makes no sense. Literally the one time. That is the one time he did that much damage.